the Lord disciplines those he loves. I was like, if I didn't love you and care for you, I don't care. Do whatever.
Spiritual warfare is like right at your door. And the choice that you make is so important. They want a husband, they want children, they want the life, but they're not willing to sacrifice.
Like, God will let us fall on our face and do whatever to get back to him. Seek him and become the person that he will have you to be, and let him do the rest.
It would just be like, I don't see how we gonna get past this. I don't see it, but God, you know better than me.
How do you stay married? He was like, don't get divorced. Like, I mean, it's just simple as that.
Hey everyone, I am your host, Jaya Renee. Welcome back to a New Step podcast. Today we're going to be taking a new step with one of my most favorite people. She is a wife, she is a mother, she's a teacher, she's a doctor. Y'all, she's even a singer. She plays so many roles in his life and she has so many hats. I am welcoming the most dearest Amanda Owens.
Hey.
We got to do like a little, one of those things. On my little, we'll figure that part out.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you today?
I am well. I'm very
I'm
well.
so excited to be having this conversation. I've been knowing Amanda since I was, I don't know, 14.
Yes.
14. Yeah, she has been with me on this journey for a very, very long time. And so I just wanted to always take the time to just let you know I appreciate you in so many ways.
Yeah, I got your back.
So many ways. Well, I also brought you here. Just tell us, I want to know like more about you. I know that you take care of so many people that comes across Amanda. Like people know you as the giver, the speaker. Like it's like I stated before, you play so many eras, but like, how did you get here? Like, how did Amanda get here? Like,
How much time do you have? No.
oh, we got some time.
Yeah, how did I mean, since I was younger, like I've always been that friend that's like the mom friend. Like I had the purse that had the Band-Aids and the safety pins and the bobby pins. I mean, even as a teenager, like I've always just kind of been that way. I don't know. I just like to have what I need in any situation, which can be a good thing and a bad because I can overplan and overthink. But yeah, for that piece, I would say I've been like that for a long time. Like even since I was a kid, just like nurturing and stuff like that. But to fast forward to today, I mean, even then it was God, but now it's just all God because I don't even know. Like that's the only explanation
The only thing
I can give for how I got to
this point. I want to say, if I know one thing about you, you give like the most best hugs I've ever experienced. Like you're so like your hugs are just like they're so loving. Y'all, her hugs are so good. We even had like it was one day in church, and the pastor had set a little time aside just to talk about how good her hugs was, and y'all should have seen how many people was able to testify that they received Amanda hug. Give me a person in your family that give good hugs and put them up against Amanda Owens hug. I guarantee you, she will hug them out. So that's one thing I just know about you. Like you give the most best hugs, and they're just like they're so receiving. Like, do you ever get tired of like hugging and hugging?
No, and COVID messed me up with that. Like it's part like giving and receiving, so it's somewhat selfish also. But I just being a person, even which is ironic being on a podcast, but I consider myself not a person of like many words. And so hugs are just like healing and you don't have to say anything. Like so much can be said through a hug.
That's true.
For me, and I feel like God has given me a certain level of discernment in a way when I can just sense that something is not
Like
what
they
it
need a
they
hug.
need a hug, or and especially if I know them really well, I can be like, what's up? And if I know that they're a hugger, I can just give you a hug and don't have to say anything, and there's like a level of understanding that's there that you don't
Just
even need words. Yeah.
yeah, I'm working on that because it's like I feel like when I give somebody a hug, I just be like, "Oh, okay." But
It's
like
like
with
a
you, it doesn't feel like that. I
awkward.
just kind of like melt, and I'm like, "Oh, this feels good." But anybody else outside of that, I wouldn't say it like feels. Maybe I just have to ask God, like, Lord, if I need to be giving out more hugs.
Yeah, and it's different with different people and different
Mm-hmm.
relationships and stuff like that. And I've had
That's
to
true.
learn too when people aren't huggers, I kind of flesh it out because I'll be trying to go in and they're like, okay, what's going on? So there's that too.
That's
Hmm.
that. I will say that's a beautiful thing that you do have that because yeah, you come across some people and you just be like, okay. But initially, because you have 8 children, which that is a whole topic itself because I admire that so much from you that you can say I got 8 children and there is like no negativity within the generation that we live in today. You will hear another person like, "Oh, girl," da da da. Like it's so much negativity behind hearing having kids
Hmm.
now. But I just want to know, like, with you having 8 children, how do you maintain order and like things just like now like it's so peaceful, it's so like quiet, like how everything just kind of orchestrates and just falls in line. Like how does that work for you? How do you get to that place of just being like I'm okay with just the amount of kids that I have and being an example to those that may want to experience that one day?
Hmm. I mean, I think just like with anything, a lot of stuff is like disposition and perspective. Like, one, I don't see my kids as a burden.
Mm,
And so, I'm not trying to like, okay. I mean, yes, I take breaks and, they'll know I'll go places. But like to me, children are a blessing from the Lord. And I have the privilege to partner with God in raising them and nurturing them and teaching them and training them. So it's something that I don't take lightly. So even coming from that perspective, just to start with,
mm-hmm,
helps inform how I do what I do. And then the disposition of just, you can only tackle so many things at a time. And then if I go up here, like it doesn't serve anybody. I just get frustrated. They get frustrated.
mm-hmm,
So trying to keep my disposition, because a lot of times I just ask myself, I'm like, is it them or is it me? And most of the time, like, it's me.
mm-hmm.
If I maintain, I'm the adult. If I maintain a certain disposition, then they will be a certain type of way, and then the environment will be a certain kind of way.
That's
So
good.
I have to keep myself calm. A lot of people are just like, you're just so calm and calm, and I'm
And
a,
I think that you're calm. I just be like, oh Jesus, like I like it just it does something to me to see you react in the way that you do, knowing that's something that I would just be like, oh my gosh, like I'm going crazy with just sometimes with my 3, but then I think about Amanda has 8 and she makes it looks effortlessly. And I'm just like, that is a God given gift to just be able to even do that alone.
yeah, I mean, well, and it takes intentionality, because it's not that like I don't ever get overwhelmed or frustrated, or,
Mhm.
I don't want anybody to think like, oh, I'm just,
Mhm.
nobody's perfect, dude. I'm not like superhuman. Like, my kids do bother me. Like, I need space from time to time. But even just intentionally being like, okay, this is not a window, like, no more questions,
Mhm.
and like setting a window for that, but it's just like really relying on God, because when I get frustrated and when I get overwhelmed,
Mhm.
then I'll just like play worship music, or I'll go flop on my bed. I call them 5-minute vacations,
Mhm.
and just talk to God, or just get real still and real quiet. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go back out there. But,
Mm.
just give me a minute to get myself together and reflect on the word, talk to God or just be still and be quiet and see if He has anything that He places on my heart and on my mind. And then, get my head back in the game.
Yeah. So, with all the things that you have going on, even if it's inside the house or just within your children, how do you have the room to give to others as much as you do? Like, even when it, just like we were talking about, like the hugs, and because sometimes just that alone can be like over the, it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
So I just want to, like, how do you have the strength and energy to like give so much of your stuff to even to others that like
Yeah.
see Amanda?
So I taught a class in July that was on Philippians, and there's a scripture in there that says, or Paul is talking, it says, pour me out as a drink offering. And so, recently that's just been one of the scriptures that I meditate on because I literally had a day where I was like, I have like nothing. Like, and I don't normally get like that, but it was just like one thing after another. Each kid was coming in the house with something, like Brian needed something. And he even literally said, like, guys, mom has a lot going on right now. Everybody just like take a break. Just, step back for a minute. And then literally the doorbell rings. Somebody comes in and just kind of basically just like falls in my arms. And so I was just like, okay, okay, like they needed that and I needed to be able to give that. And it wasn't in like I felt like I was getting ready to fall apart. But it's in his strength. There's a passage in Corinthians that's like his grace is sufficient for when I am weak, he is strong. And so, I mean, that's it. There's like just so many passages where it's just like, because it's not in my own strength and in my, I'm tired. I feel like I'm done, but God is the one, like, it's the only explanation I have that gives me that strength and step to take the extra step. But it also comes with like I was talking about earlier, like intentionality. I wake up early to have quiet time with just myself, me, myself, and God. I work out, I, read my Bible, and that I think helps fuel the rest of my day. So I know, okay, at least I've had that moment to just have this quiet time and space. And it was not until recently, probably like this last year, that I've gotten that. And because some people may not be in the season, like before this last year, I wasn't really per se in a season to like do that, but just whatever little space you can find, like while I'm washing dishes and I look out the window and I'm like, okay, there's a squirrel, God's taking care of the squirrels, he's gonna take care of
Yes.
me. It's just like
Yes.
little
Yes.
any little thing that you can grab a hold to that helps me reflect on God, then that helps me pull it back.
Pull it back in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing that you said that because sometimes we even like we forget if God is gonna take care of the animals, why wouldn't he take care of me? And even when we do come up against hardship, you come against you just dealing with life in general. I think this walk, it reminds you that God is not going to forget about you. He is going
Mm-hmm.
to feed you. He's going to be there for you. And so even when we find ourselves in situations of being overwhelmed, he's going to do it. And I think it be the struggle within ourselves because I struggle a lot with that. Like, and I hate that sometimes I don't think about it until after I done already like caught an attitude or
Mm-hmm.
got a little frustrated. I wish I would. Now I'm trying to think about it more before those words come out.
Yeah.
But I guess because like we don't see you like in a moment, but just like it just everything just works out, and people can see that, and it's just like that is God. He's right there, and we can see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. Like in a moment where I feel like I have moments of frustration where I'm like, this is really what I want to say. But then I'm like, this is who God has called me to be. This is how He's told me to respond. So I don't get the right to just
Say anything.
say whatever. And of course, I'm human, I mess up, but it's like when it says take every thought captive, and that to me is the beauty of like knowing the word. Like when my kids were little,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in my word as much, and I tried to like use an excuse, and I made my kids idols because I was like, well,
Mm.
I got this and I got that, and God, you gave me these kids, I don't have
Oh,
time. And
that's
he
yeah.
literally just like, I felt like it was a slap in the face from him. It was like, how dare you? Like,
Yeah.
I gave them to you. What are you going to give to them?
Wow.
Like, I have to give them him. And if
Mm-hmm.
I don't have his word hidden in my heart, I'm
That's
just gonna give them, myself, which hopefully God will come out in that. But like, I want the truth of His word and the promises of His word to come out, and they're very practical. Like
mm-hmm.
one of the kids the other day did something, and I can't even remember what it was, but I was like, "He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from calamity."
Mm.
I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have to just like the word of God
I
is
be feeling I'm
powerful
feeling convicted now
and
because woo.
profitable. And
Yeah.
then I followed that with children, obey your parents
Yeah.
in the Lord, for this is right, and that it may go well with you.
Mm.
And I could have said, in which I've done before too, I need you to pause,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fix your face, whatever
Mm-hmm.
is going on, but
Straighten up. Get
following
together.
that with like, but this is why.
Yeah.
It's not just because I'm telling you to, because it's a cute idea.
Mm-hmm.
And like, God wants me to do the same thing. So I'm not calling you to do anything that He's not asking me to do.
Yeah. I love that. I really do because I like sitting and listening to you and I feel convicted on some things that I have definitely done. Like, cause I'm moving out of this phase of just like trying not to like yell at my kids for everything that they may do that I'm frustrated about. And some of
Hmm.
the things like, okay, like you know better, but then God reminds me, you supposed to teach them better and not the way of this world and how they go about things. And when people are overstimulated, they take it out on their children.
Hmm.
And so coming out of that mindset that I had with the kids, like, you go in your room, leave me alone, da da da. I'm learning to just, okay, they're learning to be who they are in this world, just like I am learning to
Right.
be their
Yeah.
mom. So but it can be so hard sometimes. And I'll be like, God, I don't know what to do. I really do not know what to do, but I trust your plan and I trust whatever you're going to do with me as their mom. Just work through me because I don't got the words. I'm
Hmm.
frustrated. I am tired. And I do want to yell. I do want to scream. So how do I keep myself from doing that? And sometimes, like you said, I just quietness, like
Yeah. I
it
mean,
helps.
that keeps like, it helps for me take the guesswork out of, like I said, I don't feel like I'm a person of many words anyway, but then like, I don't have to come up with the words. They're just His words. So it's
Mm-hmm.
almost easier, but I have to have the words there to pull out like that. And it's a shift. I mean, like we all grew up hearing certain things, hearing certain
Mm-hmm.
phrases, seeing certain things modeled and done. And so it's that perspective shift and wanting to do things differently. And over time, like God is gracious. We have to be gracious with our children and give grace and time and think about who we were however many years ago and the
Mm-hmm.
process that it took to get us wherever we are now, and knowing it's the same thing with our kids. Some stuff just takes time. And so giving them the grace and space for that. But over the course of that time, having that shift to be like, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is just whatever my auntie told me or whatever I
Mm-hmm.
heard on TV or whatever, to now one of the first things that comes to my mind and my mouth is that. But that's just been over time,
Yeah.
and it's just slowly changing, I feel like, habits over time,
Mm-hmm.
so that that can be at the forefront of your lips and your mind.
Yeah.
Instead of, it's like being proactive instead of reactive.
Reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. It's just like I said, it's just a working. It's like a work of progress for me too, because like when I'm in those moments, what you just said, I can practice in my head 1,000 times. Like, all right, God, next time
But then the
I'm gonna
moment
be
comes.
quiet. I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna think about your word, and then something happens. I'll be like, why did you do like, and I'll just be freaking out. And I'm just like, okay, I need to think before I speak. Just like we tell our kids, think before you speak. It's like everything is so crazy because like everything God is like teaching me, like I'm
It
like
comes, yeah.
it comes like full blown circle. Like I'm teaching my kids, but God is teaching me, and so
Yeah. And it's okay to take a break. Like, my kids will
yeah,
ask stuff and I'm like, I don't know. I can't give you an answer for that. And I'm not sure how to respond. I'm not sure what the appropriate discipline is
mm-hmm,
right now. But I'm going to come back to that.
that's good.
Like, just go to your room, or like dad and I are going to talk about it or whatever, and knowing that it doesn't always have to be an immediate thing. And if I feel myself getting riled up, like,
Mm-hmm.
we put kids in timeout or whatever,
Gotta go.
like, take yourself to a timeout, like, put
Bye.
yourself, flee temptation,
Mm-hmm.
like, literally just back up, regroup, so that you can come back and not sin. you know.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
But it's okay to like pause
Mm-hmm.
and come back to it. Yeah.
Would you say now that you're teaching your kids biblical teaching, and then also like how do you correlate the two, biblical teaching and then the world that like the generation that your children are being brought up in? Like how do you, like when they come to you about certain things or want to have certain talks or want to do certain things that the other kids are doing and know that we are living a path that's not that's not how we're walking, son or
Mm-hmm.
daughter? Like how do you allow that to play out?
Navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in a couple ways, just like I'm the parent and they're the child, so I make decisions that they don't like, and they don't like it, and it's very evident that they don't like it. But I mean, I'm the parent. Like, our kids, see other kids with phones, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
but for our house, like, you're not getting a phone. Like, and then we're still like figuring this thing out too. Like, our oldest is 17, and so we just kind of were like, okay, when you're 16 or when you start driving, like, that's when you'll have a phone. So we just now have two that are 16 and older.
Mm-hmm.
So testing the waters with them, having a phone, and even setting limits with that. Like, this is the cutoff time for that, and it needs to be in this location at that time. Just putting boundaries in place and telling them that God has called us to be different on purpose. So, I mean, I care that you don't have a phone, but also, like, I really don't care, like,
It's just
because
the
if
truth,
this is the
yeah.
way that we're going to be different
Mm-hmm.
from the world. So you go to the school office and use the phone. If you need to
Yep.
get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me. If I need to get a hold of you, I'll call the school and have them call you down. It seems
Mm-hmm.
antiquated or whatever, but I mean, that's one way that we're just going to be different. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
doing different things on purpose and not regarding my kids' feelings in that way, because knowing that I need to
Mm.
do the thing that's right by them and right by God, no matter how they feel about it.
Yes.
We're so in our
Feelings.
feelings
Oh my
and like our
goodness.
kids' feelings, and if they aren't feeling a certain kind of way, then we need
Uh-huh.
to bring it back because but
They're kids.
yeah,
They're kids. And I think that's what you just said too, just even like when a light bulb just went off about how we cater more to our like children feelings versus what God is calling us or wanting us to do. And so it's hard to when you're trying to like be in the middle and just like you can't, if you base off your parenthood based off your children's feelings all the time,
yeah, yeah,
you're gonna be running yourself ragged, and
Yeah.
because God is not telling you to cater to their feelings. And I find myself in that, oh my goodness, I find myself in that situation more than often. Like, I will feel bad, or they're just kids, let me just let them, be on a phone for a little
Mm-hmm.
minute. And God is like, you don't see the things that is going on behind closed door. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't watch them verbatim every moment. And so I'm asking, not asking, telling you to be obedient to me
Mm-hmm.
and take the phone. But then I go back and forth, and I'm like, this is where I'm at, and this is why I'm having the trouble out of my children,
Yeah. Yeah.
because of devices, because of catering to their feelings,
Yeah.
initially just catering to their feelings. And so I'm learning that as well. It's like, I can't cater to every feeling that my children feels. I can't stand you. I hate you.
Oh yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
I can't
I'm
never do
like,
nothing in this house. And I'm just like, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, oh, Jayla. It's like, it's really a battle. Is it really that bad, Jayla? Like, and God's like, no. So it's like,
yeah, they're the greatest little Brian, my husband calls them like little sinners. You know, it's like they're just not necessarily like trying to use manipulation tactics, but
mm,
they know which parent to go to for stuff. They
yes,
know, what
they
they're
do.
doing. Like I had a thing, one of my kids was like, "Do you hate us?" And I'm like, "Really?" And I had to
They be
just
so for real. It's like,
stop for a minute
calm down.
and like catch myself. So I'm like, seriously? But
Yeah.
then, can pull it back. I'm like, now, does someone who teaches you and feeds you
Mm,
and
mm.
tucks you in and cares for you and loves you in that way, is that a
Reminding them.
sign of somebody that hates you? And they were still mad. But then pulling it back to scripture again, I'm like, the Lord disciplines those he loves. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, if I didn't love you and care for you, I don't care. Do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because of my love for you that I can't allow you to just be out here and do whatever. And it happens. Like we had our kids, especially during COVID, like they can't play video games with their cousins or do X, Y, and Z. So, or just see people. So we were letting them play
Mm-hmm.
the game more with cousins, and it started to be, a huge problem. So, it's like, well, they don't get to, like, you're talking about that
Mm-hmm.
battle.
That battle,
And
yeah.
then, no, it created a monster, so having to like dial it back. And it's okay to reset, we're all trying to figure it out. And all our
Mm-hmm.
kids are different. So, different, something that works for one kid doesn't necessarily work for another kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as you see it, then it's like, okay, I see the ramifications or whatever, the consequences of allowing them to do this in a certain way. So as
Mm-hmm.
the parent, I have to take the step to pull it back and get, if they're not saying you're mean or whatever, then I feel like that's a problem.
Right.
And I just have to get out of my
Feelings.
feelings about them
Yeah.
saying that and be like, okay,
It is what it
but I know
is.
I'm doing right by you and I'm doing right by God and you'll be all right. They will be
Yeah,
okay
they
because
will be
then
fine.
the next day, just whatever.
And I
Yeah.
think sometimes, like, even them, like, they forget about it before we do sometimes.
Yeah. And like the other part of what I was thinking about with that question, like being in the world and not of the world, and how do you
Mm-hmm.
navigate that? So, the kids see things, they'll ask stuff about divorce or people's relationships or whatever. One of the other kids the other day, they were like, so if you have a kid before you get married, is that called virginity? I mean, like, is that called being a virgin? And I was like, no, let's walk this through. And they're, at the age where I can give them enough information, but not,
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I was like, well, no, that's something called fornication. And there's like fornication, there's adultery, there's virginity, and like walking through kind of differences of what that is because they need to know about it.
Absolutely.
And then I'm like, but is that God's design? Like it
Yeah.
happens,
Uh-huh.
but is that God's design? And then being able to be like, yes, it happens, but that doesn't fall under the order of the
Oh,
way that
wait.
God intended it
I agree.
for it to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's it's not easy. I think some people look at, Christians or just people that walk with Jesus in general and just be like, oh, y'all just got a whole bunch of rules, and it's just like it's not about even like rules. I think people got so like, cause it was me at one point in time, got so accustomed to living in the world, and when God was pulling me out of it, I'm looking back and I'm just like, to me, that everything that I did and how I went about it was right, until He showed me something different. It was like, look, this is the right way of living. So how you going about things is not in the way of order that I would want your life to go, and that's why you
Mm-hmm.
bump into troubles early on than you expected to. And so when you have children, you're trying to, now that I know better, it's like, okay, I know better. Now I'm trying to do better. So teaching them things, they're like, you acting like you never did this before. And I'm just like, sweetheart, I'm just trying to,
Like I did,
I
and then
did.
this is what, yeah,
This is
was
the
the result that
outcome
I'm trying to
of
keep
it.
you
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
So initially I was going to ask you, like, when they ask you questions and they say, well, mom, why can't I experience, I go through my own trials and figure things out. What would be your response to that? In them wanting to, like, okay, mom, I'm on my own path, or whenever they get to that point, wanting to experience things on their own.
Yeah, I mean, they will and they have.
Mhm.
And letting it, I mean, one small example, like one of my kids wanted a little Nerf gun that was like from the dollar store or something. I'm like, it's gonna break,
Mhm.
it's cheap, whatever, you're gonna lose half the bullets. But please, I like really want it, so we went back again and I was like, you know what? Go ahead. They bought it, and then the exact same thing that I said was gonna happen
It
happened.
happened.
Yeah, then,
Mm.
Mom, how did you know? But it's like you do have to let them experience that. Just like,
Yeah.
God will let us fall on our face and do whatever to get back to
To
Him.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely does. He allow us to, and I think that's just the whole thing. People get confused too. It's like we have a choice.
Yeah, you have free
We
will.
have a choice. That is what free will is, and it's the choice that you make. And the choice that you make will initially have that curve and bring you back to Him. But if you keep making choices outside of His will, you're going to get exactly what you're kind of
Mhm.
asking for. So,
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, it's the same thing with our kids. Like they're going to, our parents watched us navigate things where we
mm-hmm.
mishandled money and then we're trying to figure out how to pay our mortgage and,
Yes, Mom, can
do
I?
things. But I know my parents were just like praying, and there's a lot of things that they can help with, but help in a
Mm-hmm.
way that's not enabling, because
Mm-hmm.
you can enable your kids by trying to like rescue them and save them, but like they have free will just like we do.
Yep.
So giving them the space and the opportunities to fail and mess up and make those mistakes so that they can
Mm-hmm.
understand the grace of God and understand like why it's necessary to do things His way and
Mm-hmm.
to depend on Him, because anything He's asking us to do is not this set of rules like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like guardrails. It's protection.
It's protection.
Yeah.
It is. It really is protection. Initially, I think it was for me. I've made decisions that I know that my mama was not going for, and I did some things, but came right back because I've, like, a lot of things that I'm experiencing, I've heard before. She told me things was gonna happen. I'm like, how did she know? But it's just like her prayers, her constantly letting me know like what's right, what's wrong. So when I experience things on my own and may start making those choices, I found out the water was hot, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do a U-turn and go back where I know that
Hmm.
I can't get hurt. I can't, you know, things don't have to be
Yeah.
as bad
Yeah.
if I stay in that realm and if I stay in that protection. But when I'm outside of His protection, that's it. Like, you on your
Hmm.
own. So
Hmm.
teaching our kids that it's like, oh, I just want to, just why you got to do that? Like, just stay right here. But
I mean, why do we do?
no.
It's the same thing. It just,
Yeah.
it truly is like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And we do stuff that makes no sense or we know better. So
Yeah.
they will too. And that's okay. But that is why, like, one of the biggest things I say is with my children, I'm just trying to get them to Him.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That is
with
the goal.
me,
That's
within
the goal.
myself, like, I'm I'm not enough. I'm going to be gone, but if they have him and their own personal relationship with him, like I'm going to fail them in several areas. I'm human. But he's not. And so that is always my goal in everything. Just get them
Yes.
to him and
Go,
yeah.
everything will work itself out. And
Mhm.
I thought about that one night. I was like, if I can leave, I know some people get caught up on like leaving their kids like legacy and like money and like all of these different material things, and just like I just want to make sure my child is set if something ever happened to me and stuff like that. And so my illness caused me to think about like if something were to happen with me because of the whole condition with my heart and stuff, like
Mhm.
what will you leave your children? What will be the main thing that you leave your children? Like you said, would be like, long as they know him. If I can leave my children Jesus, like I know that my kids gonna be good. Like
Mhm.
ain't can't no amount of money, can't no amount of whatever I stashed up in the bank do for you, and more than he can. And just like that is the goal of teaching your children to know Jesus, because they always have a protection rim around them. No matter what they experience or go through, they know that they're gonna be good. And like that's where I rest at. Like knowing that my
Mhm.
kids know how to pray. Knowing my kids know when they hearts get a little too, well, mom did say, if I talk to God, he will rescue me. And that is true.
And he'll
So
help you, show you how to be good with money and steward
he
that.
will
Like,
literally
yeah.
show you how to do everything that you can even think of. And so I just think so many people, if he just be like, when I pray, like I just wish you knew Jesus, you will not be, not to say you're not experiencing hardship within this life,
Yeah.
but it would not take you out the way you think or feel, and allowing things to just overly consume you
Mhm.
if you really knew Jesus. And because that's what he comes in, he rescues us in situations, and we're gonna have those feelings.
Mhm.
We just know what to do with them. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. I mean, I have a journal. There was like a time in my life where I was just like, I just need to talk to somebody. I needed to, and God was
Mm,
like, I'm right here.
here. Ooh.
Like,
It's been so many times he done me
why are
like
you
that.
just talk to me? So I just started, like, I'm not really a journaler, but I just
Mm-hmm.
started writing down all the things that I wanted to say, maybe that I shouldn't say, or my frustrations and cares, and just writing them out and talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so much peace. Didn't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
like change anything, but
That's what.
mhm.
Yeah. I would say when warfare hits your house, and it's just like you start dealing with, just like how like warfare, it comes in thick, and sometimes it just comes in like without an announcement. And how do you revert yourself back to Jesus when you have so much of just like chaos? And chaos can come from like outside the home, within marriage, children. Like how do you revert yourself back to Jesus in those exact moments? Like what is your response to certain things of that nature?
I mean, worship music and prayer for real. I mean, I felt like this was just a couple weeks ago. I feel like like half the kids, I'm like, what is going on? Everybody is just losing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I like text somebody and I was like, I need you to pray for me. I need you to pray for
Mm,
my family. It's fine. I know, and trusting that it will be fine also, because there's moments like
mm-hmm.
stuff happens. Life is life. Like in this life, you will have trouble, but take heart. I've overcome the world. And
Mm-hmm.
so just getting on my knees, talking to God, remembering to trust in Him and not lean on my own understanding. And I mean, just prayer.
That's just it's like
For
one
real,
simple
yes.
answer is prayer.
'Cause it'll be fine. Like I know that it's how Satan works. He started making me feel like, oh, you're failing as a mom and like doing all this. And then I'm like,
Hmm.
no, wait,
He
I
loved to
know,
accuse. Oh,
yeah. And
he's
I'm
the
like, I
accuser. He
am
will
not,
accuse you.
I know that I am a good mom and that I'm doing right
Mm-hmm.
by my children. So let me just dial it back
Uh-huh.
and talk to him and turn them over to him. Because remembering that I'm not in control anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we like to
We
have
wanna
control.
we wanna be like, hey, look here. This is
Yes.
what's going on, and that is hard. That is hard sometimes of like dialing back and taking your hands off things and just allowing things to just play out because you trust God and just like, oh Jesus, can you sure I can't tap in just 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And he's just like, no,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I just need you to be we're here with me.
Yeah.
And
It
it's
was like, because were you in class yesterday that Brian taught?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the story of Nehemiah and that part in there when it's like he will fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
He will fight for you. And remembering that and trusting that and being able to like chill out and not trying to fight the fight yourself. Like
Yeah.
the battle is his, and this is a moment and a space in time, but it will
It
pass.
will pass.
And there'll be more.
It's always gonna come.
There will be more. And now like, everything's fine. Like I had one kid that wasn't talking to me, another kid that was like just all over the place, like
Mm-hmm.
just all over the place. I'm like, your brain,
Yeah.
and so just, I'm like, just chill out,
Relax, yeah.
talk to God, listen to your music, cry if you
Mm-hmm.
need to,
Cry, you let it out.
yeah.
So teaching, like even teaching my children, like what spiritual warfare even looks like, because I know like I send them off to school and like they'll have certain situations and things that may take place, and for children, it's even for us adults, it's hard to like necessarily identify what spiritual warfare is.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that really don't know, it's like we live in a spiritual world. So it's like to me or for me, like I look at not. I try not to be like, oh, everything's just so spiritual. You know, some people are like, oh, girl, you just so spiritual. But it's just like in our reality, it's like a good and then it's like evil. It's like two things can be true
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah.
this one time. So even when I go to school and they deal with situations like mom, like like I was embarrassed or like we started arguing and I don't or they got into it with a friend or something like that, and I'm teaching them like, look, when you're trying to do right, there is always going to be
Evil is always present. Yeah.
there's evil is always present. So there's a choice that you have to make in that moment and letting helping them understand that your choices are very, very important in that crucial time, because spiritual warfare is like right at your door,
Mm-hmm.
and the choice that you make is so important. So like they're now understanding like, this what spiritual warfare is, or me struggling with certain thoughts and choices to make. Like spiritual warfare is like all around us and you could run into it at any given time. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, one of the big this line I say to my children every day before they walk out the door is in Philippians. And it's like, let your conduct be worthy of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Like
mm,
Satan is going to come at you, and whether I'm here or whether I'm not around,
mm-hmm,
let your conduct be where, like you're talking about that choice, like you have a choice to make. Our battle's not against flesh and blood, but against rulers and principalities, and like
absolutely.
they're out there. It may be your friends, it may be, just
Yeah.
whatever is, I mean, just stuff you can't even get away from,
Mm-hmm.
but you always have a choice. And so choosing to let your conduct be worthy
Yeah.
of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We
That's
always
good.
have a choice.
Yeah. And even as grown folks, like
Oh,
we love to put it on kids, but I just be looking at some people like, yo, I wonder what thought process, we all have to go through a thought process of making a choice that we're gonna do left or we're gonna go right. And I don't know. Sometimes I go left and then sometimes I go
I
right.
go right.
So,
Yeah. So it's like, there's forgiveness. And it doesn't mean, you're just out here just doing whatever because there's forgiveness and grace, but
mm-hmm.
yeah, we're human, we're gonna mess up. It's not always, Satan will win, but he knowing that he's seeking like a roaring lion, like seeking to
He's waiting.
devour, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that so that you can be on guard. That's why I'm like, I have to know the word, hide the word in your heart, so
Mm-hmm.
that when he comes, that's why, like, when I pray, what I pray is like scripture. I'm like, he is out here, he's at my doorstep, and I don't
Yes.
know what is going on in my house right now,
But
but like,
it's happening.
yeah, so
Yeah.
just taking, extra time in prayer, fasting, um you know
That's another thing I wanted to, I know, like, talk to you about is like fasting. I know you guys are like, to me, you eat healthy. Like, you guys really do
I
have a,
try.
and I love that. How do you guys even go about fasting with the children? Because that's something that I want to get into. I just don't necessarily know how to go about fasting with the children. I know they, with the Bible and how the Bible tells us to fast. How do you apply that with your children?
Yeah, I mean, we've done like media fasts where we didn't like watch anything, or like they didn't play video games, we didn't watch anything except maybe like one day a week if we were watching it as a family. So
Mm-hmm.
we've done those type of media fasts. We've also done, because the kids have never done like a complete just not eat anything, but we'll take things away where we don't allow ourselves. So we've done a fruit fast where they
Mm-hmm.
only ate fruit for like 2 or 3 days, and they were actually,
Pretty good.
yeah, down for it. I mean, I added like some proteins in it where I let them like dip stuff in yogurt or almond butter or something, but they just ate that. And, I asked them, I was like, would you guys want to do that again? And most of them were,
Yeah, they
yeah,
good.
okay with it. Yeah.
That's something I want.
So, yeah, like I had one kid that was like, when he had to, it wasn't necessarily a fast, but I'm like, we need to take these things out of your diet because it's causing some issues, and he went kicking and screaming about it. But then after the fact, he was like, you know what? I do feel better. So knowing that too is like, as a parent, again, you make the decision for your child's,
Mm-hmm. And this is
knowing
what we doing.
they'll be
So
okay, even if they kicking and screaming the whole way. They will be okay.
that's definitely true. Keep that definitely in mind.
Hmm.
I guess I want to also know, with your husband, Mr. Owens. Now
Yes.
he wears a lot of hats too in his life, and being an influencer and being just in a rim light that he's in as well. How, as a wife, like, how do you take, how do you respond to that? Like, maybe things coming his way and you being the wife that you need to be for him, and learning, like, knowing, well, not learning, but knowing when to, like, intercede and, like, I'm gonna hold this. How do you go about that? Because me being a wife, I'm learning to, like, all right, this ain't my battle, or baby, I can help you. Like, how do you do that?
I think the book of Esther has helped me a lot with that. And it's time, like it's taking, I mean, we've been married 21 years, so in the beginning, I was trying to be my mom towards him.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents' relationship is way different than, like, my husband is not the type where he needs me to like nurture him or do stuff or fix his plate or like
Mm-hmm.
none of that. So just like learning him and not comparing to any other relationship, but just like really getting to learn him and to find out what, God calls us as wives. It says, he who has found a wife finds a good thing, and he's
Mm-hmm.
called us to be helpmeets. So I'm like, well, let me help him not in the way that was good for my dad, but let me help him in the way that's actually helpful for him. And that's come in many forms over the years. Like, I mean, there's one point where like I was singing backup for him, or like recording background vocals for him, or another
Mm-hmm.
season I'm selling CDs for him, another season I'm cooking for the band, another season like his PA decided to move on, so I'm doing all the administrative stuff in the midst of it was crazy. In the midst of homeschooling and like doing I'm like, I gotta take this call, guys, and mom, I need help. And I'm like, well, I gotta do daddy stuff and like I actually and I thought for the first time for me, I was like, I feel like this is my time to like step out and like get a job, like a paying job. Being a mom and a wife is work. Okay, don't let anybody tell you like, do you work? I work.
That is a
I just don't get
job.
paid to work. It's a job. So that's a whole feel like a whole nother conversation. Like, if you want to have so many
But
kids, why'd you go to college? And anyway, just a
but
whole slew of
God is
things.
going to reward you for
Uh,
for that. So yeah,
yeah.
wow.
But I had like interviewed for this doula position to work for
I
a
remember
postpartum doula
that.
company. Got to the next level, it was like the second interview, and it's like got accepted to do the position, and then Brian was like, I need you. And he's the type that like doesn't ever really say like if he says I need you, like he
He
needs me.
needs you.
And so that was a point where it's just like, okay, that is more important
Mm.
than myself and what I need to do. Like we're in this together.
Wow.
And marriage is a series of choices. Like I
Yeah.
can choose, but both of us can't be pursuing what we want to do and things stay intact. So it's a give and take. When I told him I want to stay at home, like
Mhm.
I need to quit my job as a teacher. I mean, I told him this even before we got married. So that was basically on him to you
Go
figure it
figure it
out
out.
because I will be home with the children, and so it's a back and forth give and take. But in that situation, I'm like, I denied a job so that
Mhm.
I could help him keep everything afloat that he needed to keep afloat. And then it wasn't the right time anyway. I feel like,
Mhm.
so it all worked out and it usually does, but I mean, it comes with
It's
sacrifice.
yes, and
Yeah.
I think sacrifice, even just with children, with marriage, it's gonna come up no matter what. And to know that you were initially taking the steps and like, all right, this ain't about me. This is about that. It could come in there because we live in a world now. What you are doing just for your husband, just for your children, you have women out there just like, I could never, I would never, but they want these things. They
Yeah.
want them. They want a husband. They want children. They want the life, but they're not willing to sacrifice. And
Mhm.
I think initially, before I even got married, there are some things that God had to like focus on just on me because I was so worried about my husband. Well, he not this and he not that. Yeah, da 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 da. And God is like, you and what you doing to make sure that you can be the wife
Mhm.
that I need you to be first involved. And
Right.
so sacrifice is a big thing, and I feel that a lot of women will have that clash with when it comes to their perspective of things and the way
Mhm.
that God calls us to handle
Mhm.
sacrifice. So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and there's areas, it's like when you get into the Bible and it talks about women's role and that's a whole thing and like but
mhm,
we are to be a help. It doesn't mean you can't say things or don't make
mhm,
decisions. I think a lot of people get that mixed up and confused with
they do.
the role that
I'm
we
not
play. I mean,
nobody.
Esther like
I'm not nobody.
stood up to her
Yeah.
husband and approached the king knowing that she could die, but she had something to say and God had
Mhm.
something for her to do, and so she did it. So
Yeah.
there's spaces and places for that. It's just using wisdom and knowing
Mhm.
how to use your influence and use how to use your role as a wife to support your husband and be alongside him like you're equals,
Mhm.
but there's a certain role, and I tell people like a lot, like I don't want my husband has the burden, like it falls on him. It fell on Adam
Mm-hmm.
to lead our household. I'm not, that's a heavy weight. Like
Yeah.
women who are trying to like I can be
I
and do
got
all that.
this. I don't need, and it's just like,
Yeah, like I'm cool. Thank you. Do
mm-hmm.
that. Be that. I'm
Be
here
that.
to, support you in all things and, say but like I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like Brian's a better ironer than I am. Like he can iron. Like
Mm-hmm.
but I handle a budget better.
Mm-hmm.
I'll handle the budget. Like so still working within our strengths, but like when he says that something needs to be done, especially if it's a spiritual matter, then
Mm.
there's a time for me to step back and there's a time for me to speak up. And like Proverbs is full of a nagging wife, like we just want to be going for any and everything. So learning how and when to say something so it is actually helpful and impactful instead of just
Just constantly
constantly.
going off of my way, or you ain't. Yeah, I
Mhm.
I, I get that X one too. Because sometimes, and it's hard, especially when you have, you know, two different way of going about things and two different opinions and trying to coexist within one. And how I always look at it is not to say like he's in, say charge, or like, I know some people be like, girl, can't no man ever tell me what to do. I didn't work for this, I didn't work for that. And it's just like, you will never get to a place of being the woman that God truly called you to be, being the helpmate that God has called you to be, if you put yourself before your husband or potentially your possible husband all the time, and put your feelings and what you need
Mhm.
and all of your desires before his. And me understanding like the triangle, there's God, there's my husband. Well, I won't even say as a triangle, but there's God, there's my husband, and then there's me. And it doesn't mean that I'm last, or I'm like
Right.
not even thought about, but there is an order to that.
Mhm.
And there's a reason why there
Right.
is an order. There's a reason why there is order. Women can't physically do half the things that men, God has put men here to do. And so we have our strengths as well. Like we are the glue to half of our families. And so it's like we have our strength in areas too. I just think a lot of women need to learn, work with God, submit themselves to God
Yeah.
first, and then you will find your strengths within your marriage, or find your strength within your household. And so yeah, that's a work in progress for me. Like even learning that, I'm just like, wow, like
Mhm.
my outlook on marriage is so different from now that I'm in it. And before I got to it, I'm like, this is nothing that I thought it was,
Yeah.
because now it's like I'm going about it the right way and not the way the world expects you to go about it. And so I think that's a beautiful thing too. So to have like you guys as an example of that, that's a blessing. So,
Yeah.
cause we like Amanda and Brian can do it. We got it
Girl,
too.
and this is after years and years of trying to figure it out too. Cause I'm like, I kind of went into it being like the hopeless romantic, and
Mm-hmm.
that's TV,
Fall in
yeah,
love. And
like that's,
that is such a rip off though. Like I just feel like people getting played with the fact that it's just you go running a sun, and then the moment problems start coming along, it's like, man, look.
yeah.
Yeah, and they forget about God. A lot of people forget about that. You got really married for better, for worse. And I'm not to say like I don't know what people did within their marriages for disrespect and all. That's a whole other thing. But He has to be present. He
Mhm.
has to be present.
Yeah, because I mean, you'll face, we've gone through I mean, we really haven't gone through like the sickness. We've gone through it with our kids, but not ourselves. But it's like richer for poorer for better. Like, it's a
Hmm.
commitment.
It's a commitment.
And I mean, and it's a choice. We asked this one couple, like, how do you stay married? He was like, don't get divorced.
Mm.
Like, I mean, it's just simple
That's
as that. But, like,
that's real.
it's a choice, and you choose to stay married and you choose to be intentional. Like, you can do anything, but not everything. I could have chose to, like, take that job and been trying to do that job and trying
Mm-hmm.
to work for him. And, like, but we would be eating fast food all the time. My kids would,
I
like,
know that
be
way
all
too
over
well.
the place. Like, you just can't, like, there's seasons
Mm-hmm.
for everything. Like it, and that's okay.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
okay
Yeah.
to not be doing something right now, but we just try to do too much and trying to do everything
And wear
like
ourselves out
out all at the same time and then not doing anything
at all.
well. Yeah. And then like I we heard this guy speak one time, and when I'm thinking about commitment, and he's like, of course, um a 20-year-old body looks better than a 50-year-old body or whatever, but like my wife's shoulder was there when I lost my mom
Mm.
for me to cry on, not this better looking, my wife's breasts were the one to nurse my children and
Mm.
to feed them, not this other, and so that's what it looks like real love looks like, and real commitment looks like, through thick and through thin, through all the things, staying there, being committed to one another,
Mm-hmm.
choosing to put somebody else's needs
Before
above
yours.
your own, and vice versa. Like it works
Mm-hmm.
out if the other person is doing the same
Yeah.
thing.
We're both willing to come together, and it's not perfect. Don't, there's no perfect
No.
love.
And
There's no perfect
it
love out
takes
there.
time. I mean, we've been married like 21 years, and some stuff like just clicked at year 20.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I feel like the value, and why God says, like, I mean, granted, there are circumstances in which, it's not healthy, but
Mm-hmm.
to be committed to that one person. Like, I could have had all kind of reasons to just
To
be
not,
like,
oof, I'm
I'm
out.
out. Yeah, but
I'm
like
out.
I wouldn't have grown in my faith. Like it's
Mm.
caused me to depend on God in a way that I never did before, and never
Yes.
realized that I could, and how much more I could fall in love with him
Uh-huh.
because I chose to be dependent on him and not my circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And now fast forward to like a flourishing, thriving marriage.
Yes.
And I could have just thrown that away cuz I was in my feelings.
Mm. God does something. I see why marriage is so important to God, because like that's where like I even learned a lot of my strengths from, in working things out through. He's working things out through my marriage, and it's like it's some things he uses my husband for, and I'm just like, wait a minute, like I didn't know that side of me was there. I didn't even know that I had, like, certain things that he placed in order for me to not to step outside of the boundaries, but I'm going to work with you, and this is what you need to work on. So it's like I seen the beauty of seeing the outcome of how he can really change things around. Like when your marriage is honored by God, he will go behind the scenes, and literally go to war for you. And
Mhm.
I've seen him done it in my marriage. I've seen him work out those kinks. I've seen him, things would just be like, I don't see how we gonna get past this. I don't see it, but God, you
But
know
God,
better than
yeah.
me.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
has done it. So marriage is just is.
Yeah, it's a refining process. It's one of the most challenging yet like sanctifying, humbling, refining things that you will ever do. But it's a picture of Christ and the church, and how like
Mm,
husbands lay down your lives for your wife. Like Christ laid his life down for us,
yeah.
right? Wives, respect your husbands. And seeing each other's differences and appreciating the value in the differences, because you balance each other out. Brian and I are night and day,
Night and day.
night and day. But if we were the same, like in
Mm-hmm.
areas where he's weak, I'm strong, and
Strong.
vice
Oh,
versa. So,
yeah. And I guess like the last thing I just want to know, if there's a young lady who may see this and she's like, you know what, I want a husband. I want, I want the kids. I want that lifestyle, I want it. What would be your advice to her in how to, navigate and why? Like, why would that be your advice to her if she's looking at your life and saying, that's what I want?
I mean, God grants the desires of our heart, which the desire of my heart and anybody's heart that's choosing to follow Christ is for his will to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, first and foremost, wanting God's will to be done in your life and then becoming the person that he would have you to be.
Mm, that's good.
I
That's
mean,
good.
just become, seek him and become the person that he will have you to be and let him do the rest.
I like that. All right. Amanda, it was so nice sitting with you today.
You
I've
too.
learned. I always learn. First of all, we always learn. I'm always like taking in what you're telling, so I really do appreciate this
You're
whole thing.
welcome.
Guys, thank you for tuning in on New Step Podcast. We have taken a new step with Amanda Owens. And we're gonna head out today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and give us feedback today. Love y'all.
Bye.
That was good.